Juhi told me once, अच्छा हुआ तुमने इंडस्ट्री छोड़ दी वरना फिर, and I said, Juhi, come on. That's what I told Riteish, is the conviction in which you're narrating Raja Shivaji to me is something that I saw when Sooraj narrated Maine Pyar Kiya. I have been scolded by Yash uncle, pushed to the brim by Manmohan ji, who came and told me, he's saying, Bhagyashree, aaj haan bolo, main kal film announce kar de. Why are you not? I look back and maybe I missed out on those opportunities. Growth is imperative to keep younger. What everyone got touched by was where Shivaji Raje brings Sambhaji Raje's death news to his mother. She's lost one son, sacrificed one son to the nation, and yet she tells her other one that go and finish the battle.
Bhagyashree, welcome to Variety India. I want to take you back in time when this film came to you, whether it was a phone call, whether in person Riteish met you, whether it was narration. Take me back to that time.
First of all, thank you so much, Tushar, for getting me on Variety India. This film is not just a film. It's special for all of us because we are so rooted down in our what the Maratha wars were. We have grown up learning that in our history lessons in school. So when Riteish just called me up and said, I am making a film based on Shivaji and I want to come and see you. So he walked through that door and I said, whatever it is, it's yes. So he said, but listen to the subject. I want to narrate 2 scenes to you. I said, okay, fine. So he sat down and he narrated 2 scenes to me. And it was with so much intensity that neither I could stop listening and neither he could stop telling. So it was more of all his emotions coming out. And we just sat there, him and me, and for 4 hours he just went on, and I didn't tell him to stop. He'd come there to have coffee with me for half an hour. Chai, coffee, sab वैसे के वैसे थी, and we just kept, about the subject. So I think Shivaji is such a huge historic person in our Indian history. Without Shivaji Raje, I don't think it would have been possible for us to stand up to the Mughals. He's the one who gave the embodiment of what Swaraj meant, what independence stands for. So I think he's something that is so relevant even in today's times.
I like how you said that you just told him that I'm up for it. What was that place of conviction that you said this line to him? And when you found out what was the role that you were playing, how did that play out?
2 points are very important. One, who Riteish is as a person. Whatever I've interacted with him, whatever I know of him, he comes from a very grounded background. So I know he won't come to me if there was something frivolous. It would have enough weightage, enough importance for him to come to me to suggest any kind of role. There was no questioning about that. Secondly, when I get to play Jijabai, women in those times, and especially Maharashtrian women, you would know, were always given almost equal status to what men were. I mean, the feminism was present even at that point of time where they were equally involved in the politics of the country and everything that was happening around them. And she was the embodiment of that. Today's women can actually look up to her in a way where a woman could manage her household as well as manage, things of the state. So today when we look at working women and we see them managing both, it doesn't make you less of a woman and it doesn't make you more of a man. It just brings out the strength of what a woman is capable of doing. So I think to be able to play someone like that, it was, I think, also a great time for me to grasp those kind of qualities into my own being.
When I went to watch in the film, I was so excited to know more about these people. They have given so much to where we are today. Sacrifices, decisions, there is so much written about the fights and the battles, yes. But the families, the bondings, the mother-son relationship, the son-father relationship, I think those angles played out so beautifully in the movie.
And that's what Ritesh said. Ritesh said, I'm not making a war film.
Yeah.
I'm not making an action film. I'm making a film about a man who wanted his family to taste what independence is. I mean, that's such a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
Today we celebrate independent India, but very few of us actually understand the relevance and the meaning of what real independence is. I mean, the younger generation has not even seen that kind of war, seen that kind of sacrifices that were made. So, in fact, when I was playing Ausab, Jijabai, and I thought to myself, in today's times, when there are mothers that send their children out to war, send them to be soldiers, whether there is war or not, just send them to be soldiers, knowing that they may not come back. What strength of heart they might be having to be able to do that for the country, for the nation. That's such an overwhelming feeling that makes you feel so humbled and realize that, life is of such bigger things.
Was there a scene that stayed with you?
I think what everyone got touched by was where Shivaji Raje brings Sambhaji Raje's death news to his mother. I think that would be the hardest for any person to do any time. And yet he has to do that. And her reaction is pain in her eyes and in her heart, but she takes a stance of what is needed to be done. She's lost one son, sacrificed one son to the nation, and yet she tells her other one that go and finish the battle. I mean, everyone on the set was just soaked in that emotion at that point of time. And even after cut, we all sat there silently, just understanding what the depth of these characters might be even at that point of time. And what, when it happens in today's world, and I'm sure it does, we've had instances in Kashmir, and we've had instances where, so many Jawans have lost their lives, and what each mother must have gone through at that point of time. So yeah. I think that really stayed with me.
What also stayed with me was how you looked. I mean, the physical aspect of it, the sarees, the key to detailing, just the way you hold the thali or the way the camera lights you the first time we see you. Speak to me about that. That also must have been a lot of fun.
So I've grown up seeing my mother wear a nawari. A lot of the sarees that were shown in the film was something that I've seen my grandmother and my mother wear it. And Manoshi, thanks to you. She really did a lot of detailing where the dresses were concerned. A lot of research went into what was worn at that point of time. Because you see a lot of films that are made on a scale like this and are supposed to show grandeur or show the times of Raja or Maharaja. And they make the women dress up like Christmas trees. There's like jewelry all over, and they've got the mukut and they've got the earrings and whole lot of kadas and bangles. It wasn't like that. Times at that time were tough times, And yes, wealth was there, but wealth was supposed to be for the people. It wasn't for adorning yourself, which you can see the difference in this film. What the Mughals did and how these people were dressed up. So yes, gold ornaments were worn. Ornaments were worn to show a certain status, perhaps to show marriage symbols, for scientific purposes, like a small thing in your toe, the toe ring, is meant to help in the blood circulation. So there were scientific reasons
Copper,
why.
Iron, you wore all those metals, right?
Yes, why jewelry was worn at that point of time. So research like that was done, which was so beautiful. In fact, all the weaponry that was used, that is recorded in history. Those kind of weapons were shown over here, where Shivaji Maharaj is even carrying those weapons, like the Vagnakhi and stuff like that. So I think that research, I hand it to the art director, to Riteish himself, because I don't think that would have been possible without the
Yeah.
captain of the ship actually pushing it forward. So yes, that made a lot of difference. And where my particular look was concerned, I think I am very comfortable wearing sarees. I've worn them ever since I was 16. So
What was your first reaction when you saw yourself?
you do get transformed into that era. And to get into the mind of Jijabai took a lot of silence. It took a lot of stability of mind, where you couldn't allow your mind to waver, because this is not something that can be played so easily. There are not many dialogues that have to be said, not many lines that have to be said. Whatever has to be spoken with an eye. So it's just the contact from eye to eye, from look to look. Or even when you can see in the film, there are just these pauses that actually bring out her feelings or pain or authority or even anger and resentment. It's to be conveyed only with the eyes. You required a lot of stillness and just peace to be able to do this.
Was there a line that Ritesh gave you, or just a cue, or maybe just a conversation before you started filming? Like you went on the first day of your shot on the first day on set. What was that personal conversation between you and him where he gave you his vision of who she is and what she should be?
Well, in Marathi, he told me, तुम्ही तर राजघराण्यातली, तर तुम्हाला तर माहिती आहे कसं होतं. So which means that you come from royalty, so you know how a person has to carry oneself with grace, with fortitude. And I don't need to explain that to you. I know you'll do that well. So that's what it was.
Anything you discovered about Ritesh post filming that before you met him for the first time and you're like, wow, this is a completely new side of him that I'm getting to see?
I think very few actors can be actors, directors together, and especially for something so huge and so humongous. You know, it's not an easy thing to portray yourself on screen, manage what is happening beyond and behind the camera. But he did that with calmness and ease. That also shows that he's been living with this dream for the longest period of time. It's not something that he is doing. It is him. It's only then can you make things happen, make things work, because you're living it out. So that made things so much more easier. He was so calm, you know, that things go wrong on a set. We were shooting some day, the rains came in and we had to, you know, all stall the shoot and move on to the side. And maybe, you know, the junior artists did not be able to perform. There's so many scenes in a, you know, with a crowd, and they couldn't perform and they kept messing up. And it's so easy to, you know, get angry at that point of time and say your main actor is performing and you guys are just messing up the scene. But he was so calm and so nice, and even telling them, like, I don't remember a single time him raising his voice. If he had to even change a character that was standing behind any one of us, and he would do it with folded hands, and he would say, "Mai apan pathi jata ka," literally like that. So I think there's also a lot of blessings that this film has got from the people that were working with him not only on the set, but even those who have given him support for this idea to make this happen.
Yeah.
It's difficult to make a film on Shivaji Maharaj, because it's not possible to put everything of his life into one film. You have to pick and choose, and you have to manage only certain chapters, and you have to do justice to that. And that's difficult. Unless you're living with it.
Talk to me a bit about Genelia and the fact that she's also producer on the film. And I remember Ritesh telling me that she just made my life so easy. I didn't have to worry about anything.
Absolutely. Santosh sir was the cinematographer, and all of us know him as an absolute perfectionist. And there the sun would be going down and he would want this perfect shot, and he would say, I'm not doing it. And we had to finish that particular scene, and we would have to do, all the actors would have to come again for the next day to perform that scene. And Riteish would like soak up his breath, and he would just look at Genelia, and Genelia would go and convince Santosh sir, last shot, please, ye le lijiye aap. So yes, she was a good producer. She managed both fronts very nicely. But I think it's wonderful to see that that friendship between a husband and wife, even while working. That's the toughest part, I think. Because when you're working on something as magnanimous and as sensitive a subject, there are bound to be crashes, and there are bound to be certain things where, as a director, you want certain things, and as a producer, you can't afford to cross the line, and you have to kind of compromise somewhere in between. And I think they're just a beautiful couple. They managed to do it so easily. They actually set an example for a lot of couples in today's times.
Tell me, when the phone rings post a release, especially a special film like this, what have been the messages that have come your way? Obviously, family reactions matter. And given the fact that it's a filmy family, I mean, everybody is an actor now.
I took my daughter to see the film before the post-production started, like the first cut. And Riteish had called me, and I said, can Avantika come? And he said, yes, of course. So Avantika joined me, and she saw it without the VFX, without the dubbing, without the BG. The BG has had such a great impact on the film. But she had these, suggestions and little nuances that she felt would better the film. And she told that to Riteish, which he absorbed very nicely. And in fact, some of the changes that she suggested, he made in the film also. But when I was seeing the film with her, and I was seeing the film, and then I was looking at her, and I said, Avantika, she said, Mom, don't worry. So, in fact, after that, she has been on my life. She said, Mom, why haven't you been doing more films? Saying, look at this film, and then we realize how much you've missed out. So, that reaction coming from her really...
I'm with Avantika on this.
Yeah, it kind of... it filled my heart. The reaction from public also has been very nice, because having a role where you are not really mouthing long dialogues and powerful dialogues, and yet it's impactful enough to stay in people's mind.
You make your debut with one of the biggest films of all time. Everybody has seen Maine Pyar Kiya. The question on everybody's mind then is, if somebody was in your shoes, the most logical thing to do would have been do more films. I want to ask you, what space were you in, and why did you not do more films post Maine Pyar Kiya?
See, first and foremost, I think I was very young. I was also very much in love. And I wanted to get married and start a family, like I think all young girls have that dream.
Were you married during Maine Pyar Kiya, or was that post? There was this buzz that you were already married when the film came out.
When the film came out, yes, I was married. I was married and I was pregnant.
Yes.
By the time, because there was a year post the film, till the film got released. So they had a lot of edit to do. The film was very long, so they had edits and dubbing and a whole lot of work till they finally decided to release the film. But I would say at that point of time, a girl of 20, and back in those days, it was only logical for me to have a choice that I had to make. Either I would follow my love and get married and lead my life like this, or I would get into films and forget about my love. So it was all about priority for me at that time.
You didn't think you could do both?
I don't think it was possible.
Okay.
Name the people for whom it has been possible in those times. Today, yes. Today, life is different. Today, society is different. The acceptability is different. I think the family culture is also different. A husband and wife complement each other and help each other where this is concerned. And that's what the society is today. Back in those times, and we're talking about a good 36 years ago, 37 years ago.
More, huh?
Yeah. So it wasn't like that. And I had to take a choice. What was more important to me? So I think I took the choice that was.
So you take a choice because that's what your heart tells you to do.
Yes.
Then you also perhaps make a decision that you will work with your husband in your forthcoming films.
That
Is that a fact or fiction?
it was like has been said umpteen number of times. When someone came up to me and said, we want to make a film with you and we want your husband to play your love relationship in the film. And I said, yeah, why not? Kyun nahi? So it became the easiest thing to do. I did not think about how the audience is going to take it. I did not think about the repercussions. It was a very momentous decision for me at that point of time that, yeah, I should do it. I still get a lot of brickbacks for that, but it's okay. There are a lot of mistakes that you do or a lot of things that you do when you are younger. And this was one of those things which both of us did. We had fun. There are no regrets where that is concerned. But yeah, we did that, enjoyed it, finished that chapter and moved on.
Tell me, did you have friends in the industry at that point in time? Were there any voices that you listened to? Were there any mentors that came and perhaps told you that, are you sure?
Oh God, I have been scolded by Yash uncle. I have been pushed to the brim by Manmohan ji, who came and told me, he's saying, Bhagyashree, aaj haan bolo, main kal film announce kar deta hu. Why are you not? Now that they are no more, and I look back and not with regret, but a wish that, those were the masters of their craft, and it would have been so wonderful for me to be able to learn from them. And in whatever decisions I took in life, maybe I missed out on those opportunities, to be able to work with masters. So that's one thing that, yes, that does come to my mind. But then again, life goes on and then you don't look back. You look what's there ahead of you and maneuver through life like that.
Yeah. How was filming like back in the day? Were there a lot of retakes? Were you a fan of them or were you like...
In fact, I think most of Maine Pyar Kiya has got first takes.
Really?
I would say almost 80-85%.
Wow.
Because Soorajji would never make me rehearse. For me, rehearse was like, okay, you have to, for the lighting purposes or for a trolley camera, that you have to reach this place by the end of your sentence or by the end of the scene. This is going to be our last frame. But he would never make me say the dialogues. He would say like, he did that for the first day, I think. And then he said, no, your first take is always your best take. So you just look at what is being done, and then when we say take, chalo, aa jao aur kar lo. So that's what Maine Pyar Kiya was. Also, I think the rawness is what makes it so adorable.
Yes.
It is so real, it's raw, it's something that everyone can relate to, and it's innocent. There's a part of all of us that wish we were part of that. And it's not just because it's Maine Pyar Kiya or it's my film, but even as a viewer, if I'm watching the film and you look at different relationships in the film and you see yourself in some part over there.
I still remember when I watched Mere Rang Mein Rangne Wali, and that moment for everybody who watched that song for the first time will stay. The way Soorajji handled that moment of just that thin line between innocence and crossing that and rebelliousness, like maybe you were the character, she was rebellious. He gives you that outfit and you decide to wear it, and it's weaved so beautifully in the song.
You know why? Because I refused to wear the outfit.
What do you
mean? That was the reason. Soorajji said the whole film is made the way you want to. Now there is this one outfit that he wants you to wear, and that shows that they have kind of sealed their love because she trusts him when she wears that outfit. I said, but I'm not going to wear it. So then he actually showed me Hemaji's song in Kranti, Zindagi Ki Na Toote.
Oh.
So he went like, Bhagyashree, Hemaji has worn the skirt and it's till her knees. So Hemaji has worn it. Will you not wear that skirt? And I said, no.
You were really firm, huh? You were like,
But again, this wasn't once we started
Yeah.
shooting. All this was discussed way before we started
Sure.
shooting for the film. So it wasn't like I created any ruckus post my saying yes. I said, these are things that I don't want to do at that point of time. And surprisingly, that's like you're remembering it now after so many years. That little change where I said, okay, she trusts him, but why should she trust the world? And he says, that makes sense. So he gets to see something that the world doesn't get to see. I mean, it's a beautiful
Genius.
thought.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
But that's what worked.
That was genius. I think that moment stays with you even after the film goes, because like it was a different time. Innocence was such a strong emotion.
Emotion,
no?
yes.
And the fact that this coy girl who has been so coy throughout, suddenly in a mix of a second decides to do this. It was beautiful. How many pigeons were there in the film that you had to work with?
Just two. Just two.
And they were well trained, or were they like all over the place?
No, they would alternate between those two pigeons, and it was usually, this whole thing was shot during the mating season. So they would have one pigeon on one side and the other on the other.
Interesting. Because it's so difficult to work with animals or birds.
Yes.
You can't, like kids, I feel like you can't control them, you know, they're beyond.
And then, you know, 2 shots down the line and Sooraj ji would go like, shayad wo thak gaya hai, ruk jate hain. I said, the artists weren't tired, the pigeons were tired, and Sooraj ji would be like, nahi, ruk jate. बहुत उड़ के गया ना, रुक जाते, बाद में करेंगे.
That is Sooraj ji
That
for
is
you.
Sooraj ji.
Yeah, but that is how Sooraj ji is.
Yes.
You can trust
and
him.
I saw that flicker, in fact, that deep emotion in Riteish when he narrated the subject to me. So that's what I told Riteish is the conviction in which you're narrating Raja Shivaji to me is something that I saw when Sooraj narrated Maine Pyar Kiya.
Was Salman a brat, or was he intimidating, or was he just, again, because he was raw at that point in time, but I mean, Salman being Salman and the legendary stories that we hear about him back in the day, how was he like? Was he tough as a co-star?
No.
Kept you on your toes, or?
No. He was protective and a naughty boy mix. So there were different emotions at different times, but more or less he was more protective about me. I've always had very fond memories about shooting Maine Pyar Kiya. Otherwise, I had no intention of getting into this profession. But shooting with Salman and Sooraj ji made me rethink about this profession, about enjoying acting. And that's when I thought that this is something that I enjoy doing. I would like to pursue it. I would like to continue it. It's another thing that I took a break, but this stayed with me. And it wouldn't be possible if, you know, filming Maine Pyar Kiya had any of bad memories or something that I would have regretted doing or some problems that had happened.
Sure.
Everything was so smooth sailing and everyone was so nice. Yeah, I could go back there in a blink of a second.
And if a Sooraj Barjatya had called you again post Maine Pyar Kiya, what were your thoughts on then revisiting yours?
Which he did, but I was pregnant.
What are the things you learned from him? Because you pick up so much from the people you work with, no? We all know what a fine director and how he understands empathy, human emotion, bonding. But how is he otherwise to work with? How was he?
Again, extremely calm, very focused. In fact, way too focused on his work. Like me and Salman used to tease him because he was just married, and Vinita Bhaviji would be on the set, and she would be wanting him to eat his lunch on time. And when we would break for lunch, everyone else would eat the food except for Sooraj ji. He would still be wondering about what and where he would be placing his next shot. So we were about a month in Ooty, and there was not a single time where he sat down on time for food. And she would be waiting over there, aap khana kha lo. aap khana kha lo. I was like, it just stuck in my mind.
What were the thoughts of, oh my God, there is this itch, like I want to go back?
See, I didn't really take such a long break as such. I did a lot of regional cinema where they had very powerful women-oriented subjects, where I did a couple of films down there. I did a little bit of television. I meddled a little bit with that. Today, this is a different world. You know, I did Sajni Shinde ka viral video last year, which was a character very different to mine, but the film had a solid impact because it told about what social media can do to a person's life. So again, that character, though was negative, it was impactful in the film sense. So I've had the opportunities to play these characters, and I've chosen these characters which have an arc to them, stay on beyond after the film. You know, you get over with the film and you come back and you realize that there was this character. It shouldn't be that this character can be played with anyone else. That should stay behind in your mind, and that's the kind of roles that I would like to choose and do. And because I know I can bring something to the table and something different than what other people can. So I would like for me to be able to do that more often. So it's good that taking it easy, choosing the right kind of work, and I don't want the audience to be disappointed with watching me.
Because you did not put yourself in a box. You know, it's so easy to do more of what works, and that's how the industry works. Or action has worked, or this biopic has worked, let's do more. Or she was so good as a villain, let's cast more of that. I think you managed to also challenge yourself, feel, does this really excite me? Was that the thought process?
Absolutely. I mean, see, this is one profession where you get to live different lives, get into people's psyche, something that you are not. And you understand what makes that particular character click. What does that character work on? What would be that person's backstory? How life would have impacted that person? And how is it going to play out in their actions now with people around them? There's a lot of psychology that goes behind that, and very few directors or writers actually delve into that. Today, unfortunately, with a lot of corporates coming into the world, people often ask me what's the greatest difference between films then and now. Films then were made out of passion. Today, it's made out of a project. It's only made for the number game. It's only made to earn money. And I feel you lose out on these stronger characters that you can create, stronger stories that you can create, things and films that are impactful towards the society, towards the way people think. And I think we miss out on that kind of cinema. There are few people who still believe that and make that kind of cinema. But unfortunately, they don't get funded. And I think this for all the corporates who are listening, please, you know, try and pick up cinema that actually makes a difference in lives of the commoners, of people today. I mean, entertainment is great, but today people want realism and stories that have some kind of impact on society. So while we are doing a lot of true life incidents and true life stories, I think the corporates should fund those directors, those writers to make it all possible.
Tell me, is Raja Shivaji your first Marathi film? In the sense that...
yeah, kind of, yes.
And what took so long for Marathi filmmaker to come to you? Have you been approached in the past for a Marathi film?
I did, long time ago. Again, that time I wasn't ready. They weren't shooting in Bombay and they were shooting outside, and it was for a lengthy period of time. I'm talking about years ago. My children were still small and it wasn't possible at that point of time. But yeah, today I'm game. Today I'm all out there, and yeah, my children are the wind beneath my wings, and they say, go, do what you haven't for so long.
I also feel like the fact that both your kids are in the industry now, you know, Avantika has obviously done some great work in the recent past. Abhimanyu has done acting as well. What are the kind of conversations that you guys have? Maybe over breakfast, or they've come to you and said, "Oh, mom, I've said yes to this really cool role that came my way." Do they speak to you about this? The way you share your work with them?
I think we discuss cinema as a whole, like what I rightly said right now, that stories and films have to be made with passion. They also believe that, and they would love to have a backstory of a character, be able to work with a character, to be able to develop those traits within themselves before they get onto the set. So yeah, they do that. I often tell them that a lot of method actors do that. And it's tough. I think it's tough for method actors because some part of the character stays behind with you at all times. And maybe if the character's not got a good backstory, not got a good character to play, then when you're imbibing those qualities in your personal life, that could hamper. You need to understand the character, you need to understand the story, but you also need to switch off.
Very important.
So yes, so when I come back home, then I am me, Bhagyashree. I'm not the character that you see on screen. And this is me, this is different. What is there is different. I think that is very important.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's such
And that goes out to all the younger actors, you know, all of them who are playing roles, and they believe that a lot of casting agents also tell them when they are giving auditions that remember something of your past and get it back to you and
Use that.
And create that emotion. So if you're having a very intense scene, then you have those emotions. You know, when you're performing that as an actor, it's already causing a lot of cortisol rise in your body. to recreate a memory that has actually happened with you, and then
Trauma.
use that trauma to create new trauma. I think, no wonder, you know, the younger generation is going through so much of angst, frustration, a lot of, I don't even want to say the word, but yeah, depression. We weren't aware of those things at that time.
Is there anybody from the current generation of actors that you see yourself in?
Each individual is unique, and it's beautiful seeing someone else perform, on Cellulite and say, just look at that person's work and give him or her that, grace, and that being able to perform such a character or role is beautiful. You always, as actors, as people, we always strive and want appreciation.
Yeah.
So why not give that appreciation to that person without comparing him or her with anyone else, or seeing yourself in that person and thinking, oh, shayad main aise karu, yeah, I can do better, or I would have done it like that. Why do that? I mean, you can appreciate a person for just being there.
Are you an ambitious person otherwise, or you're like very content with sort of where you are and you want to make the most of what works for you? Because there are two ways to look at it.
If you're truly content, I think you'd become stagnant. So growth is imperative to keep younger.
Correct. Shows.
No, just kidding. I think you need to have that passion to wake up the next day to be able to achieve something better than what you did the previous day. You need that. So you need to be ambitious where that is concerned, but not to that level where everything else gets disrupted to achieve that. I would just say
balance.
Have that balance in your own head, and I think I have that.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, they were like, she's going to give a run for everybody's money. You know, it's over for all these other girls who've come out now. Because
so it's so sweet when Juhi told me once, अच्छा हुआ तुमने industry छोड़ दी, वरना फिर, and I said, Juhi, come on, I mean, everyone was in love with you.
Yeah.
You know, so there's enough grass for everyone. I just feel that You need to be sincere towards what work you decide to do and do it to your best ability, and they'll always find appreciation.
Do you see yourself in like an all-out grey villainous role? Like in my head right now, as we're having this conversation, I'm like, for somebody who embodies innocence and sweet love, why not do the polar opposite and think of a character who has heinous motives at the back of her mind, but she's not playing her cards and showing the world?
Why not? Anyone listening?
I mean, as an actor, that's a great way to.
Absolutely. Like I said, you get to live different lives. So
Yeah.
you get to delve into different minds and the characters that you'd like to portray on screen. The only thing that I would like to say is when you look at a film as a whole, it shouldn't disrupt society. It can show realism, but it's important to show a solution for whatever disruption is being caused. Like a Ravan should have a Ram. That's what I feel. I don't mind playing the Ravan if you're showing the Ram.
You know, at this point in time, there is so much conversation happening about how can we better workspace for actors, whether it's male actors or female actors. There are also actresses who are now married with children and talking about work hours, balancing work life. Right from a set dada or somebody, a light man, how can the industry get better? And you've worked at a time when there were no conversations. You just had an umbrella.
We didn't even have a vanity van. Umbrella? Hello? No vanity van to change clothes. We had to knock at people's doors and say, please, एक कमरा दे देना हम लोग कपड़े चेंज करना चाहते हैं. So we worked in those times, and yeah, it was so much more tougher. Today you have the entire staff with you, and you have, you know, a lot of help to make life easier on set. Having said that, I think all these guidelines differ from person to person, from project to project, because maybe there are times where you need the early morning sun. For Raja Shivaji, we would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've done that. But that's not true for all other movies. And then some directors like to work only through the night.
Yeah.
And the actors may not want to work on such a project. So all this has to be discussed before you sign on the dotted line. I just feel creating a ruckus post that becomes so much more difficult. It's an industry where you don't run on one person. Everything has to be mutually understood, and especially between the director and the actor. I think the conflict, if the conflict starts there, then you're not going to produce anything good out of it. And the only person who really makes a loss is the producer. And I feel that's so unfair.
Yeah.
Unfair on a man who's putting in his money to make you look good for the world. So whether it's the actor, whether it's the director, I think it's so much more easy as an industry to have mutually understood hours or spaces for both of them to work. There is where the corporates come again, where they put down like set rules as if they run your life. They can't take over your life. And that creates projects and not dreams on celluloid.
Yeah.
You know, it's about being able to work together in a mutually comfortable space with respect and understanding towards each other and towards the profession.
Correct.
Then it sets for good cinema.
Yeah. No, for
You know?
sure. Have you had a chance to speak with your director post-release?
I am so happy for them. I'm so happy for them because Riteish has carried this film for a good 10 years as his dream. And finally, the results are showing. And I'm so happy that he's been able to put it to the audience, and the audience is loving it. So yes, I mean, I've seen a smile on the next day, and it's saying, thank God, Devalni Vatsolo.
Is there a favorite scene of yours from the film that has stayed with you, which you may or may not be a part of?
Oh, both the kids are so cute,
Yeah.
Ryan and Rael. And I was shooting with them where he asked me, "Tu radtes kai?" And I tell him, no, something has gone into my eye. And it was like so late at night. And I told Riteish, I said, Ritesh, he must be so tired. Let him go to sleep. No, he has to do this. And Genelia from there is saying he has to play football tomorrow. And it's 6 in the morning. I said, Ritesh, please allow the child to go to sleep. Saying, no. As an actor, you need to be there. He did not allow him to go back till he managed to give the shot right. I said, that's a tough call. From director to father of such a small kid.
What's a non-negotiable for you at this point in time?
Like I said, a mutual understanding and respect has to be there. I'd like to work with good people. Projects can come later. Good people is first, because when everyone is nice, it makes the atmosphere so much more conducive to good work happening. Then even if the work goes a little haywire, there are people to support and make it happen. The strength of the film industry lies in the numbers that are working on the set. It's everyone's blessings, everyone's hard work. And any single person who says, I made it happen, is lying through their teeth. It's always a mixed effort of all the people coming together and making a film happen. Having said that, the most important things is the script, because I think script is the king. The director comes next. And the actors are colors to a dream that is being woven. So the painting has to be set in a person's mind. They have to know what they want to draw.
Yeah.
And we are there only to help bring it to life. But if they are confused, then the painting is going to get messed up. So I'd like the script and the director to be very, very clear in their head that this is the structure of where we want to go. This is what we want to do. And that will work.
I'm looking forward to what's coming up next for you. Doesn't matter whether it's OTT or the big screen.
Absolutely.
It's great to have you back, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.